Hey guys, Jason here once again with the SG1 Sports Channel. Thank you for tuning in. Let's talk some Penn State football, and more importantly, the roster that James Franklin and his staff has put together up there is unbelievable. It hasn't been getting the fanfare across the country, but if you start looking at these kids on paper and the production the young guys have put out, they are really loaded, got some talent, got a big future up there, and if they don't start winning some games, I'm going to question James Franklin's ability, to win football games. So let's look at the top 10 players at Penn State. Number 10 on our list is wide receiver Justin Shorter. Now, he's a rising sophomore. He was highly touted when he came to Penn State. He was a consensus 5-star prospect by all three major outlets. ESPN had him as the number 8 overall prospect in the country and the number 1 wide receiver. He played in 4 games as a freshman in 2018. Only had 3 receptions and 20 yards. But they're really excited about his future there and his upside. He came in with a very talented class, and he should receive, a bigger part of Penn State's offense this year and certainly in the years to come. Number 9 on our list is quarterback Sean Clifford. Now, he's another one of these young, talented kids that, Penn State has been able to gather the last couple of years, and it's kind of flown under the radar on the national scene. They have a lot of young talent, and he's one of them. He came in pretty highly rated as a 4-star prospect by, all 3 major outlets. You can really spin the football. They love his football IQ. Now, he didn't play that much last year. Played in 4 games, was 5 of 7 for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns, which, that's not a whole lot of experience. But, however, on one of those completions, he set a school record by hooking up with Daniel George for a 95-yard touchdown pass against Kent State. So the upside for this kid is really high, and look for him to come out of camp as the starting quarterback. Number 8 on our list is running back Ricky Slade. It's another one of these young, talented skill guys that Penn State has gathered over the last couple of recruiting cycles. He came in as a 4-star prospect by all 3 of the major outlets. 247 Sports even had him as high as a 5-star and the number 1 all-purpose back in the country. So he was the top-rated player in Virginia as a senior. And so, last year he played 9 games, had 45 carries, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did have a career-high 61-yard touchdown run versus Illinois. This guy has the potential to be really, really good, and he should have a bigger role with the offense this season for the Nittany Lions as they try to find a way to spread the wealth with all this young talent. Number 7 on our list is offensive lineman Steven Gonzalez. Now, he's a rising senior, and he's a big kid. Now, he's 6'4" and 340 pounds. Has a lot of career starts. Started all 13 games in 2017 and 18. He was an honorable mention to all Big Ten in 2018. In 2016, appeared in 11 games with 3 starts. So they lost 2 starters from last year in Connor McGovern and Ryan Bates. So Gonzalez, who flirted with the NFL in the offseason, ultimately decided to return to Happy Valley. They do return some experience up and down the line to go along with Gonzalez, but look for him to be the anchor of not just the offensive line, but a leader in the clubhouse as well. Number 6 on our list is linebacker Cam Brown. Now, Cam Brown is a big guy for a linebacker, really big. He's 6'5", 230 pounds. And the coaches are expecting this guy to finally play to his abilities and talent. He's a guy who has great sideline-to-sideline awareness and speed. He's, like I said, a long, rangy, and a high-effort type player, who has the ability to even walk down and play from the line of scrimmage. He has a lot of experience, having played in 38 games in his career. He's got 127 career tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. He even led the team with 3 forced fumbles last season. So, Look for him to have a big year in Happy Valley this fall. And for Penn State to progress on defense, they're really going to need him to step up. Number 5 on our list is cornerback John Reed. Now Reed is a fifth-year senior, and he came to Happy Valley as a highly touted 4-star prospect, and he certainly hasn't disappointed, having made an immediate impact when he got here as a freshman. He appeared in 13 games with 2 starts as a true freshman, making ESPN's Big Ten All-Freshman team. As a sophomore in 2016, he started all 14 games, totaled 36 tackles. 5 tackles for loss, had 1 INT, and then in 2017 he had to take a medical red shirt due to an injury. He came back last year and picked up right where he had left off, with 11 starts, was second on the team in pass breakups, with 1 INT, was honorable mention All Big Ten. Has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, to go along with a high motored effort and attitude. They look for him to have a big senior season. Number 4 on our list is wide receiver KJ Hamler. And once again, here we go. We're talking about some more talent that Penn State has at the skill position. He's a very versatile kid. That the roster with the Nittany Lions is just littered with right now. Like I said, he didn't come in with as much fanfare as some of these other guys, but he has definitely stamped his name firmly on this roster and in this starting rotation. Handler redshirted in 2017 and then exploded onto the scene last year, breaking the freshman record for all-purpose yards with 1,417, a mark that was held by somewhat of an average player, a guy named Saquon Barkley. He hauled in a blistering 93-yard touchdown connection from Trace McSorley against Ohio State, and that was the second longest play from scrimmage in school history. So this guy has got some really high upside, like a lot of the talent they have. He's got some speed. He's versatile. They can play him in a lot of different places. So look for him to have a big season for Penn State this fall. Number 3 on our list is tight end Pat Freiermuth. And here we go. Once again, we are highlighting the exploits of another one of Penn State's talented, underclassmen. He's a big 6'5", 256-pound sophomore. He showed up at Penn State with not a whole lot of fanfare, although he was, a 4-star prospect by the Big Three recruiting services. I just don't think this, Nash Lee was a big splash when they signed him. Now, in 2018, as a freshman, he appeared in 13 games with 9 starts. Had a catch in 12 straight games, had 26 receptions, about 370 yards and 8 touchdowns. And that ranked him second in college and led the Big Ten in touchdowns by a tight end. So he had 14 catches of 15 or more yards. 62% of his receptions resulted in a first down. So, the sky's the limit for this guy. And if the quarterback situation gets resolved, like I think it will, this could and should be a big year for Freiermuth and Happy Valley this fall. Number 2 on the list is defensive end Yetur Gross-Matos, who may be one of the most underrated, overlooked, and at times forgotten players in all of college football. He's a 6'5", 265-pound defensive end, and this guy is crazy good at times. He is a total home wrecker at the line of scrimmage. He had 20 tackles for loss last season. And he ranked number 2 in the Big Ten and number 12 in the nation with 1.5 tackles for loss per game. He was named to the Hendricks Award watch list. He's even in contention for Defensive Player of the Year nominees for the Big Ten. This needs he needs to have another big year for the Nittany Lions, if they want to contend for a Big Ten title. Number 1 on the list is linebacker Micah Parsons. Now, here we go. This is another one of the young guys, again, as we talked about, that is on this roster that is just really, really good. He's a 6'3", 245-pound linebacker. And this guy could be special, really special. He was a 5-star recruit by the 3 major outlets. And when he got in games this season, he did not disappoint. He was a freshman All-American by ESPN, honorable mention All Big Ten. This guy is a tone setter and a bone rattler. Really violent at the point of attack, plays almost angry at times, led the team this season with 83 tackles, become the first freshman in school history to do so. Look for Parsons and the rest of Penn State's really talented underclassmen to help guide Penn State back into title contention quite soon.